There's no better time to upgrade your phone at Walmart because when you sign up for AT&T Next, you can upgrade to a Samsung Galaxy S5 for $0 down. AT&T Next lets you upgrade every 12 months, so there's only one place for wireless. Walmart, more ways to Christmas joy.
Requires eligible installment agreement, qualified credit, and wireless service plan. Tax due at sale. If canceled, wireless service device balance due. New device after 1 year requires 12 installments. Eligible trade-in and new purchase. Other charges and restrictions apply. See AT&T.com/next or a store for details.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Aquarium Radio at aquariumradio.com. And I'm your host, Janet Lessin. And today we're doing a simulcast of Alien Contact Organization with Theresa J. Morris at GJ Morris ET Radio. Our very special guest today is Dan Willis. And there may be some other people joining us. I'm not sure exactly. We have a regular Dr. Bruce Maccabee. I'm not sure if he'll be here today. Sometimes Tommy Hawksblood joins us. But let me first tell you about Dan Willis. Dan is one of the Disclosure Project's top secret military witnesses that testified at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. in 2001 in front of every major media. This was a world disclosure event which was asking for a congressional hearing in order to bring forth the witnesses, the scientists within the Black projects who can release the technologies that have been hidden from humanity, from all of us, for over 60 years. And these technologies could stop any further damage to our planet. But instead, the message was sanitized by controlled mainstream media. An ex-radio broadcast engineer and NBC newsman, Dan has taken a keen interest in how and why the mainstream media has withheld disclosure of the full message to the public, a message based on the hundreds of credible military and intelligence witness testimonies. And one moment here, I'm going to check and see if TJ is on. Aloha, TJ, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
We're all listening. Yeah, we're listening. I started my song and then realized you were talking. So welcome, everybody, from the Alien Contact Organization. We're all here on the planet, spinning around smartly, and this is Janet Lessin, and she's introducing Dan Willis with the Alien Contact International. So, again, back to you, Janet.
And I just wanted to add that Dan's website is www.thewebmatrix.net. Make sure you have thewebmatrix.net. And I want to turn on and invite Dan to say hello. Hold on 1 second while this little red button goes on.
And we got several people here on my board.
Once again, Dan, I just want to tell this listening audience that last week we had Dan Willis on the Aquarian Radio Network with Dr. Sasha Lessin and Janet, myself. And today we just finished Cosmos Connection on Revolution Radio with Dan. And now we have Dan here at Alien Contact Organization. I want to thank you very much, Dan, for coming on to our show. Aloha, are you there, Dan?
Oh, my pleasure.
Yes.
And welcome to my show.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We just did a 2-hour show talking about the cheese and aliens and secret governments and all that good stuff, and suppressed technologies.
DJ's laugh.
I had fun.
I kind of missed the whole. I'll have to listen. I had to go do normal things like shopping for food, those type of things you got to do once in a while. But this format, we typically do a roundtable discussion, and as lovely as all of us are, sometimes we get long-winded. All of us, we're all guilty of it. I haven't met anybody who doesn't. Every once in a while, get guilty of being long-winded. So we want to do a roundtable discussion, and I unfortunately didn't prepare any questions. So we will ask a question. Each of us will ask a question, take a turn and ask a question, and then I have a timer. It's a lovely little timer. We can give it 4 minutes, and then this harp will go off. And then it means either finishing your thought and getting silent so that it can go to the next person. If you happen to complete your thought, your train of thought before this little clock goes off, this timer goes off, then you can say, I'm complete, and I'd like to pass to the next person. So, TJ, I don't have your board. Do we have any other participants on your end? Dr. Maccabee or Tommy Hawksblood?
Thomas Becker is with me. And I don't, there's somebody here from New York. This may be 347. Is this Thomas Becker? Or who's 229? I've got to find out who they are. Is Bill? Yeah, there's Thomas. Okay, Thomas, you're here.
Yeah, I'm 229.
Okay, who's 347?
Good.
Wait, Janet, I've got someone else. That's you?
You're 3.
No, you're 818.
That's you.
I'm 818.
Well, okay.
Oh, okay. Tommy's here. So I've got Thomas Becker and Tommy Hawksblood on my board, Janet. So please include the three of us.
All right. So let us begin. Let's go boy, girl, boy, girl. We have 3 boys. We'll start with Dan, since he's our special guest of honor this evening. And so, Dan, would you like to ask us a question that we would all answer about consciousness, spirituality, extraterrestrials, disclosure, UFOs, something in that genre? But you can really kind of ask whatever you like. And ask it. Oh, shoot. Leave me alone. Okay. My phone is ringing. Ask it, and then you can answer it. You can answer. Or how about you'll answer it last? You can ask the question, and then we'll go around, and then you'll be the last one to answer it. Okay? So go ahead, Dan. What question would you like to ask the panel?
How do people feel that once they become aware of the reality that they've been falsely indoctrinated into, how do people feel they can change life for the better here on this planet and expose this situation?
Okay, thank you. So would you like to go next, TJ, or like Thomas or Tommy to go?
We can start with Tommy Blood and then Thomas Becker and then me. If you want, I think we as hosts should go last personally. But if you want to, however you want to do it.
All right, so go ahead and Thomas, would you please answer that question?
So is it going to go to Thomas or Tommy?
You're both, but
that's why I get referred to as AMAD.
AMAD.
And just call me. You can call me Hawk on here instead.
Okay, we'll call you Hawk. Okay, and okay. So the first one responding to the question is Ahmad. Okay, Thomas Becker.
He's going to have to repeat the question now.
Okay. We'll get this.
We're an alien
go
contact
ahead.
organization.
Wait, Dan, go ahead. Ask the question one more time.
Okay. Let's see, I forgot what it was.
So much for reality. Our conjecture state.
There's different levels of awareness on this whole issue, as you know, from the blue pill to the red pill people, I guess you could call it. once you become aware that the world you've been born into, you've been falsely indoctrinated and manipulated from the very start, knowing what's at stake for the entire race on this planet, with these deceptions continuing, how do we feel that we can change the situation for the better of all humanity?
Okay,
well,
go ahead, Thomas. Your turn.
I'm really
Take it away.
I'm really not sure we can change it for the betterment of all humanity. I'm not sure all humanity is going to ascend into the next plane. Now, I think disclosure would be a good thing that you fight for, and would help make things more aware, but I still don't think that's going to help us much in the long run as a soul on a journey.
So you feel some people will make it and others won't?
I'm sure that's the way it's going to be. There's a big degree of awareness.
Okay. I don't talk to anybody about
That's pretty much about
on talk shows. So it's kind of interesting to me to hear. I've been kind of a lone wolf, I guess you could say. That's probably not a good terminology.
Welcome to the real world.
Alone is
the real world.
I just kind of,
Wait. When it's the other person's time, you're not supposed to talk. Okay, save it for your time. Okay. So, are you complete, Thomas Becker? We can stop and
yes,
we can.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. This is like the presidential debates. Okay. So anyway, but we're not debating. Next person is Tommy Hawksblood. And I think there's different levels of awareness from the blue to red pill. And once you become aware that you've been falsely indoctrinated, how can we, create, what was it? How can we do something? I lost what it was. How can we improve things? How can we come to a win-win outcome for everybody? Okay, your turn, Thomas. Tommy, Hawk.
Okay.
Take it away.
All right. I got the question. I agree partially with Mad Painter. Basically, we're not going to change everybody. Everybody doesn't want to change. But for me personally, I wasn't brought into the delusion or the illusionary world, which a lot of people are. I was gifted enough to be shown the dimensions and the different realms when I was very little. So I didn't say that planet Earth and this physical reality is as important as everybody wants to make it out to be. But again, while I learned and went through different experiences here, there is ways that we can work to help make the world a little bit better, only a little, because we have different countries that believe different things and people that believe different things. So we each have to accept who we are, what we are, and learn what that is spiritually and physically and psychically. Then what I feel that we can do is help a person understand their soul truth, who they really are, so no matter what's going on this planet, they're not going to be affected. Sure, we're going to create and destroy and play games, and that's what man likes to do. But when a person rises above the ego and the programs, they get to see what spirit truly is and how it can work. So what I'm trying to do, and I've been working with abductees for a long time, because most of those people have no clue what they went through. And it's time that people face who they are, why they're here, and what they can do while they're here and what they're going to do after they leave. And to me, I think the most important thing is to learn what you can do after you leave, because 7.4 billion people growing rapidly is a number that we'd have to be multiplying religion, spiritualism, truth 10 times more than we're doing every minute, every day to make it affect the whole world. So I suggest we deal with the present, who we are, what we are, and what I say, we teach each other how to get to a place where you can recognize who you are as soul, not as an alien, not as an entity, but who you really are, and who you really are after the physical body says goodbye, or you say goodbye to your physical body. And we have the ability to do that, and we each have to take the step to work at that, but we have to give people techniques to work with to get into that space. One last thing, Barbara Messiniak talked about how the alien races were absorbing souls when they leave the planet. if a person is unaware, that's why we get ghosts, spirits haunting here. That's what souls, alien races could abduct as energy and power. So it's a matter of bringing awareness to each and individual soul. And the only way that's going to happen is by those people listening to the people that are giving them some kind of good advice rather than false advice that's not going to help them get any further in life. So my teachings are mine, and TJ has hers, but we agree on a lot of things, and we're really working together to try to create that, because people are ready. There's a lot of people ready to step forward and change what's happening, but we still have to fight the government. That's a physical battle. It's not a spiritual battle. So there's two battles that people have to face. The spiritual battle is inside themselves. The physical body has to deal with the physical world as far as the contamination and those things. So, yeah, it's a game, but mankind is so ingrained with certain things, it's hard to pull them into a reality where spirit is important rather than sex and fun and party and football. So those things, people blame TV. I blame sports. I blame a lot of things that take us off the attention where we could be. As far as farming, I mean, farming was an incredible thing, and we're taking that out of people's hands and putting them in control of people's hands to contaminate it, to make it more dangerous for us. And that's the things we really have to stop. I mean, whether the aliens want to help us farm and do things like that, that's a different choice. But as far as us being involved, we really got to be involved with that. So our next step is, how do we do that at a world conscious level? I mean, freedomslips.com was a good station to help bring that awareness out. But thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next person to answer the question is TJ Morris. And let me get the clock set, and TJ, take it away. You have 4 minutes.
Okay. Since our new guest to the Alien Contact Organization or National is Dan Willis, he was able to go first and offer a question, as Janet put it. And he's referring to the red pill and the blue pill, which, first of all, you have to understand that is a popular cultural symbol that represents two embracing thoughts, painfully trust of reality. So you have to ask yourself if the blissful ignorance is the illusion, the blue pill. Now, that comes from a movie, believe it or not, popularized in science fiction back in 1999, which is one of our favorite movies because it was designed to assist the world in waking up, believe it or not, the ignorance of illusion, because we talk about the background of what reality is. So therefore, you need to know that, first of all, Dan was referring to his own logical way of introducing himself into the world of alien contact with a analogy or a way that he wanted to know that we probably understood. So first of all, he thought his audience, is the way I understand it, was people that knew what we were talking about when consciously he said something to us, and he was using pop culture with red pill, blue pill. So that's what that is, folks. So how does one answer that? He's thinking that how we thought we woke up. Well, people that are universal, we didn't wake up to the fact that we were human on the planet, and because we always knew who we were universally speaking. So then you have to go into reality. So we are universals, those that are answering the question, multiversal. And the multiverse is a hypothetical set of multiple possible universes. And in my universe, I can step down and be on the planet and be here now and talk to Dan Willis and everybody out there with the Alien Contact Organization, because I have learned how to speak and communicate. That's why I recognize what he's referring to. So I understand that in his world, he's asking me to answer a question that I have to relate to a human thought form that was created on the planet, and we're speaking English, so we have to break it down phenomenologically into a reality that he will understand that I am communicating back to him. So now we're talking communication. So the realism of being a local in physics means that I have to know that he believes that this is real, or he perceives that this is realism. And so we're going to talk generally. So everybody out there that comes to us in the Alien Contact Organization to learn about universal thought and multiverse thinking. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. And Dan was asked to come and play as the brand new kid on the block. So back to him is he believes some of us are just waking up but that's okay because he's playing the game inside the Matrix. So the best way to answer is I've always been universally outside the planet and outside the box. So I probably don't relate to how his brain works with all the compartments inside his brain. But I would say that he wants to play with me in this reality. So for the sake of being on the radio airwaves, because you guys know I love the people we're playing with tonight, there's various possible worlds that exist. Now, we can go into the theory of everything on philosophy, which is system building and metaphysics. And I understand that he is a Rosicrucian because we just did a 2-hour show, roughly, without the break, on Cosmos Connection, which is performed as entertainment on freedomslips.com, which we just did. So therefore, we are coming into a reality that has already been in existence with Dan Willis. And did it ring?
Hey, TJ,
I didn't hear it ring. Oh, shit.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
I did now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. My turn. So once I'm aware that you've been falsely indoctrinated and you have taken the red or blue pill, which is from the Matrix movie with Keanu Reeves. So I became aware because I'm a contactee and I had experiences all my life. But even having those experiences, because I've been raised in a Christian world, I couldn't really freely share that with anyone because I would get criticized or ostracized and people would ridicule me. So I kept things to myself for many, many years, and I just started supporting everything that supported coming out of the Matrix, and especially like when the movie came out. I watched the movie, and I started talking about that concept. That was brilliant, and I think it may have originated somewhere back with even David Icke, who wrote Children of the Matrix, which was a phenomenal book which outlined what was going on with the government and the black projects and all that. So I came out of it by researching, studying. Right now we have to go on and you can watch YouTubes and just watch. So it's not all true, it's not all real, but reality is elephant in the room, and we're all holding a different piece of the elephant. And to us, our perception is different. And so all we can do is keep investigating, keep educating ourselves, and having experiences and reflecting and contemplating. And eventually, as we age and grow and evolve, we hopefully become wise. And part of that is waking up to the realization that our government's lying to us, that what we see is not always 100% the reality for everybody else. Have you ever been where 100 people witness the same incident, like a car crash? You're going to get a different story from everybody. So each individual has the perception of the concept. So once we realize that our government doesn't love us, and that I love how Michael Jackson says they don't care about us. So once you realize that, what can we do? And I keep going back to do your own personal work, realize where you get triggered, realize where you project, and you judge, you criticize, you analyze, and by waking up yourself to who you are, your highest potential, and your multi-dimensional self. See, I've come to the point through my practice, which involved Tantra, which is a deep meditative practice, and meditation, and psychotherapy. I did regression, past life regression. I did regression on my incidences, even though I had conscious recall. Once you go into hypnosis, you get a better understanding. So I worked with myself, and I woke up, and I've always been able to astrally project, and I studied that, remote view. And so I just started educating myself and doing these practices, and now I'm awake. And now I'm doing a radio show, and I interview, hundreds of whistleblowers. I go to conferences. I'm doing everything I can to create conferences, because I think sharing breath is very important when you get in the same room and you look at each other. Okay, there we go. The timer's gone off. Something happened with the timer. Okay, but it went off. Thank you very much for listening. So back to Dan, where the whole thing started. And I'm going to go back to my alarm, to my stopwatch.
Don't we each get to choose a topic
Dan
after him? Okay.
Right. So
Yay.
next round, go to Thomas Becker, and he will choose. And I think I'm going to make the round 3 minutes. Easy, quick, kind of long. Okay, so go ahead, Dan. Your turn. To answer your question. Hello?
Oh, he has to step outside of his box to play. He's on your board. We can't hear him. He's on Skype, is he? He said he was on Skype.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, let me go get him. He happened. Okay.
Good. Bring him back in.
Give me 1 second. Let me find him. Here we go. He somehow.
Bring me.
There we go. Let's see. Oh,
you can bring him back on your board.
I'm doing what I can. I'm calling him.
He didn't have enough information to know how to come in.
No, I called him on. It's fine. Dan, are you with us?
Can get him.
I got him.
I'm
Dan,
here.
are you with us? I saw you dropped all of a sudden. I didn't realize you weren't there.
I mean, the gentleman was speaking, and I got to the point where he was talking about, about everybody's spiritual evolution and everything like that, and then the phone just dropped, and so I missed everything after that, so anyway. Thanks for reconnecting me.
I was...
She needs a producer.
I won't know what my thoughts are, but go ahead. What's your perspective on your question that you asked us? Are you there?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yes, it's your turn.
Yeah, we gave all ours. You can come back and listen to the archive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll come back and listen to the archive. Anyway, I missed his full answer, but both gentlemen that were speaking, I concur with them. One, that it is a spectrum of awareness out there, from people who absolutely deny, everything's normal, that type of thing. There's no hidden. CIA doesn't control the media, and we need rockets to go into space, and we need gasoline to run our car, and there's no other options to that. There's those people, and then there's the people who have studied this thing thoroughly, who've looked at the witness testimonies and have looked at the supporting documentation and all this. And if you really dig into this, you find out that there is, but spiritually. We are what we are, and that's really the main game, is how we become aware of who we are, and in that process of learning who you are, you realize your ability to affect this reality in how you think about it. And anyway, that's the things that interest me, since it seems all the regular channels for change have been compromised by this rogue group. It's not really the government per se. It's this secret cabal that's operating behind the government, But, hey, maybe I'll just grab my crystals and start visualizing and asking the ETs to show up to help us. Maybe that's the that's the way to do it.
Okay, are you complete?
Oh, I guess as complete as that statement goes, yes.
That's okay. We will stop that timer. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going back to Thomas Becker. And Thomas, what question would you like to ask the panel?
Do you believe that disclosure is being withheld because of the technology that would follow disclosure?
Okay. Disclosure is being withheld because of the technology?
Right.
Was that directed toward me?
Everybody.
This is going to be the next. So we're going to start with Tommy. I'm going to make it 3 minutes because I think 4 minutes is a bit too long. Okay? So Tommy Hawksblood, and then we'll go around the circle again, and then Thomas Becker, you'll be the last one to answer your own question. Okay. Go ahead. Talking about disclosure, Tommy, take it away.
All right. I have two views on that. First of all, disclosure will happen when aliens want it to happen, not before. The second part of that, the government's been working with aliens for a long period of time. If they came out and told what they were doing for 50 or 100 years, the world would freak out because it was all lies and stories that they didn't tell us. So I don't see any possible way disclosure is going to come out and be a beneficial thing for the world, even though we think it is. I mean, it'll help some people that don't believe in aliens, that they're real, that there's UFOs over the planet. But again, when it comes down to the government, if the government even admitted it, they would still think it was a lie. So it's like a no-win situation as far as disclosure. But for me, true disclosure would be races landing on the planet and saying, okay, this is what you're going to have to do now. And then they would realize, okay, this is what we have to believe in or accept. I work with abductees. I saw aliens close up and things like that. I don't think they're ready to come out and say, hey, let's party, let's sit down and bake a cake. So the reality of disclosure, yes, Congress has to be forced to be open about the truth. When is an incident like just last month there was a UFO crash? There is no report anywhere on the internet, in the TV, or anywhere about it. Why is that? And I have a friend that documented it and everything else. So I plan on exposing that directly next month. But we have this situation where the truth is there and nobody's going to force it, because who wants to force it? And it has to boil down to actual disclosure by aliens, not by humans. I mean, if the U.S. government was doing it, they'd shoot holograms and say, okay, these are the alien friends of ours. And they already did that. So that's the game that we're playing. So I think when all these people stand in front of Congress, if we don't go into the White House, they're not going to listen. And even then, even with the Michael Murphy, when he did what in the World Are They Spraying, he went in every Congress, every building around the world trying to get people to listen, and they wouldn't even face him. They were not allowed to talk to him. So truth is going to be hidden, and it's been hidden for thousands of years. So I don't think it's just going to pop open because somebody says, I want to know that there's aliens out there. The people that want to know can go out and watch the sky for a week, and they'll see something. The people that don't want to know stay inside their box, and they don't look outside. And that's how simple it is. But again, what the government was doing with them, I don't think people want to know. And when that comes out in any great detail, which these whistleblowers are trying to bring some of it out, but you don't hear, I mean, it's kind of like, what are we going to bring out? The good, the bad, or indifferent? Sure, Tesla was working with an alien, and he was told how to make the planet the most incredible place 100 years ago. And we're using two things wrong: the HAARP system and the whole Philadelphia experiment. We could be using all the other things that make. That's it. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tommy Hawksblood. Okay, TJ, to answer the question,
what?
Do you believe disclosure is being withheld because of technology? Go ahead. TJ.
Well, depends on what reality you live in. Once again, if you live outside the universe, it's a moot point. But we'll speak from inside reality and to the universe, and we'll speak to the planet, because reality is my reality too, that I'm sharing by choice. And speak to that question that there's a deeper connection going on, and it's more universally speaking, but in answer to the question, the way we think existentially, technology is changing, and we're paying attention. And there's been much talk over the intelligence agencies in the world, and because we're in America, we seem to like to talk about the alphabet soup, which is CIA and NSA on the last program, and Defense Department, our Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, is basically responsible for a lot of high-tech, high-end development, And of course, the governments and the people that control the governments want to control reality. And so they also want to create virtual reality, which a lot of people aren't realizing. And I'm here to work, universally speaking, on all realities in all universes. So that's hard for people to grasp. So in order to stay in social behavior, I have to address the question of the coming age of human construction or deconstruction or reconstruction. And those of us that work outside the box, or we'll say that know soul level and work universally, we do what we can to seem that we are inside the matrix chasing the almighty reality that globalists plan to seize. But you know, this is a game. It's a game of life and a game of souls. So there are people out there after people's essence and reality. And they are going to ultimately look for the destiny of humanity to be socially controlled, universally speaking. So there's a virtual reality world that even the word Facebook has become a major player with Accel Partners, a venture capital firm that receives startup funding with deep construction into technology. So we are all being controlled, even in cyberspace and social media. So in the long run, virtual reality is going to unlock limited potential, but they're going to be sold that it's going to unlock human potential. And a lot of people are going to buy that universe. So in coming of soul age, I have to stop now. Ta-da.
Thank you, Kay. Okay, one second while I reset the clock. Okay, hold on one second. Back to timer. Okay, the question is, do you believe disclosure is being withheld because of the technology? Well, I think that technology is only part of it. Part of it is religion, and it's money, it's greed, it's power, it's control, manipulation of the power elite over the masses. I'm an Anunnaki researcher, and I study this 24/7 with my husband, and we go back through the threads of time into the ancient astronauts, and all roads lead back to Rome, to Babel, and the original battle between the two brothers, Enki and Enlil, and their sister they excluded and used and tried to make babies with, and the next generation was the Marduk and Inanna, who went kind of crazy, and that resulted in a major war, which destroyed lots of the planet, Sodom and Gomorrah, and it, anyway, there's been all these catastrophes based because Planet X Nibiru has been coming through the inner solar system. Sometimes they can mediate what's going to happen, and other times, it seems like they were powerless. But right now, for them, it's only 3/4 of a year. It's not even a year. But for us, it's been approximately 3,600 years. So they have the long vision, and with the long vision, they create psychological manipulation, such as religions, to control the masses. Because how are you going to control the masses when there's billions of us and only about 2,000 to 3,000 of them, maybe a little bit more? And that's who they are. They're called the Illuminati, the Bilderbergs. They are the power elite, and they're desperate to maintain control because the masses realize what was going on. They would not be controllable. So one of the ways they control us is by shortening our life expectancy. Their life expectancy is hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years long, and we have been shortened down to 120 years. But frankly, I don't know too many people that live to be 120 years old. So we basically, most of us have, somewhere between 30 and 80 years to live, and we're off this planet, and then we're back into this cycle of souls, and we're reincarnated, we're back into the matrix again. So we've got to wake up and become conscious, because each generation, each these successive generations, the power elite, they are creating greater and greater control, and this seems to be the final battle. So disclosure, it is happening for individuals that are getting contact, invite contact. Be aware that contact is possible. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the skies. And you will have your personal contact. And when you do, talk about it with your friends and family and help everybody to wake up. And that's the end of my time. Thank you for listening. Okay. Now, Dan, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
It's your turn to answer the question.
Okay, my turn.
Yes.
Well, in being personally involved in the technology for over a decade, traveling around the planet, meeting with inventors and scientists, some of them murdered and whatnot. Many of them received national security orders, which from a secret program called the Sensitive Application Warning System that's in the U.S. Patent Office. They will not allow any energy solution out to the public. And I've met with many scientists that have had horror stories happen of trying to do this. So my perspective on it is that the controlling cabal basically view the entire human race on the planet as just a resource for themselves. They already have the infrastructure set up for nuclear power.
You still there? Dan keeps getting dropped. I don't know what's going on. So maybe, Thomas, you can pull him in.
Why don't you tell him to call me? Yeah,
okay,
let Thomas pull him. We're on the mainland.
Okay. Thomas, would you answer the question, and I'll try to get Dan.
Tell him to...
I believe that disclosure is being held back because of the technology that would follow, things like free energy, trips to Mars that only take, hours instead of days and years. Stuff like that, I believe, is out there, and the government is keeping it from us. It just seems to me that they spend a lot on black projects, and like Dan Willis is saying, he's met quite a few of them. He knows he has an inside look on it that the rest of us haven't gotten to see yet. And pretty much about it.
Okay, thank you. I think I've got Dan back. Okay. Dan, are you with us? Oh, wait, 1 second. Let me put every time you call you back in, you go on mute. Okay. Hi, Dan. I'm so sorry. Something's happening that you got dropped. Next time
it keeps dropping. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. I would suggest that he call in on the mainland. I would suggest he uses Skype on the mainland.
Yeah, call in to 347-945-7207. 347-945-7207 if you get dropped again. But go ahead, let's...
Okay, go ahead and give me that number one more time. Janet, give me that number one more time.
Yes.
347...
945-7207.
Okay, 347...
945
7207. Your audio keeps chopping in and out, so it's a little hard to get.
She's on Hawaii.
I got 347 945. What were the last four digits?
7207.
7207?
Correct. There we go.
Okay, all right. Yeah, your audio is kind of chopping in and out, and it drops on certain spots. Okay.
Okay.
What I was should I continue where I left off, or where I got dropped?
Yes,
okay.
Continue, please.
What I was saying is I personally was a member of a team of 6 technical advisors with, looking at over unity, exotic energies, and traveled around the world. One inventor down in the Dominican Republic I was meeting with Professor Leuter. He had a device producing about 500 watts of free energy, And he said just before we got there was two CIA people that told him this works, you're dead. So, and I've seen many horror stories with this whole issue. So my take on it is that the people who want to keep the UFO secrecy, which basically leads back to, wow, okay, so you've reverse engineered this stuff. What'd you find out? You get free energy, anti-gravity. Of course, that's going to, compromise the existing energy structures of the world that the people who are tied in to make profit, they're not willing to give up. And more importantly, if they start to release the energy technologies, they would start inquiring into all the secret activities that's been going on, which is to disclose the whole breakaway civilization that's been hidden from the rest of humanity, that they have manipulated the entire perception of the planet, through education and media and entertainment. So, like Richard Dolan says, disclosure is impossible but inevitable, because it's leaking out all over the place as far as these things go. And I try to always base whatever I talk about based on solid witness testimonies with supporting documents and things I've personally experienced. I know there's a lot of information out there, and you really have to sort through it. But when you look at the situations like Fukushima that's going on right now, and the Gulf oil spills, and the potential for much worse, and the ETs have basically just shut down our nuclears. They could have come in and blasting with lasers, but that's not their style. They've basically been warning us about these dangerous technologies. But I think, going through the regular channels of Washington, I have to say, I feel a little discouraged. I feel like it's not going to. They've got it so wrapped up and so controlled that I don't think it's going to happen that way. But I do believe in the work I've done, with researching all this. Like the gentleman talked about the 7.4 billion people on the planet. Well, the square root of 1%, as I statistically figured out, was 8,000 people. And if 8,000 people, as their consciousness became aware of this, it would propagate across the entire collective consciousness. And the alternative media, which is us, broadcasting on this, is also feeding this. So,
all right. Well, we're out of time, but we'll next round. That's a very good point. Thank you so much. Okay, I got confused where we are. Okay, next round, Tommy Hawksblood, you ask a question, and then we'll go, TJ will be the first one to answer it this next round, and I'll write down the question. So go ahead, Tommy. What is your question to ask the panel?
My question is, the question is what each one of you, how you feel that you can determine what something's being told to you, whether it's by an alien or a group of aliens. Is it right? Is it right for you? And is it right for the or is it right for the world? What I'm saying is, you get visited by aliens. How do you know it's right? How do you know what they're teaching you is right? How do you know it's going to benefit the world and what the world consciousness is moving into?
Okay. TJ, your turn.
Okay. If I can understand the question, it's that if you're in contact with aliens, so first of all, you have to be a philosopher in understanding what reality is your cognitive orientation of an individual encompassing the entire individual knowledge point of view. So that takes in ontology as well as natural philosophy, a fundamental existence of thinking normally or what is normal. So all this is philosophical, folks. We all have our own existence, and we all use philosophy. So we need to look at the world perception. And we, in the Alien Contact Organization, are referring to those that we believe as alien. Well, I happen to believe we are all alien. So it's hard for me to separate, fundamentally speaking, the concept that there is anything separate from any of us. So therefore, if I believe anyone, I believe all, because thought is alien to me. Philosophically speaking, it's outside my reality, because universally, I know I am essence. And in reference to framework, I have to rely on origin of thought, because thoughts are things consciously in this world. Universally speaking, there's essence that we, at this point, can only say is origin, source, zero-point energy in science. Philosophically, we have a worldview, epistemology, German philosophy, fundamental thinking, Weltanschauung. I don't know how you would say that. Situation, I don't know. But the world and how we see it. So if we believe we are all not aliens, who said that? So you have to adjust yourself to the fact that you're not alien. And I suggest that you are. So how does one answer? How does one hear an alien? If in my reality we are all alien. So it's a philosophical belief system that we even believe that aliens exist. Because I happen to know that, universally speaking, we're all from somewhere else, and yet we're all visiting this planet. So I was born universally to understand a different angle on the dangle of what they... I try to have fun here. So how does one know? Exploring yourself. It's subjective logic.
Thank you, TJ. Okay, my turn. So I have been in contact what I deem as extraterrestrials or aliens. I have a concept of self and not self. I understand what you're saying, TJ. That's kind of abstract, but I do get what you're saying. Basically, when I am dealing with units outside of the norm, which is 3D and physical reality, such as ghosts or extraterrestrials or interdimensional, how do I know if they're right for me or good for me? Just like how I know if anything's right or good for me, it's just the reality. When I'm meeting a new person, I'm just evaluating a situation. Is that person going to be good for me or bad for me? I make judgment calls. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. One of the things I know is that the aliens have always been good to me. I haven't had any negative experiences. I have had times where I felt afraid, and I had to look at my own emotional status. I look at it sometimes through hypnosis, looking back over the situation. And when I was experiencing, it's kind of like the cat. I take the cat to the vet, and the cat thinks I'm mean for doing it, and the cat thinks that the vet is an alien, and they're doing all these procedures. A lot of people that have had contact and experiences, that's their perception. Sometimes when you relax into it, it's kind of like when you believe it, you will see it. If you relax into it, then more things become apparent, and you realize the motivation of these beings, at least the ones that I'm in contact with, are to assist and to help us evolve, become conscious, aware, eventually be invited to join the Federation of Planets, the Galactic Federation. So I have been to an underground military installation where I saw many different beings. I've been on board ship. I've been on other planets. I feel very blessed with my contact, and I do look at it. I keep a journal. I compare notes. I talk to other experiencers and contactees. There are now millions of contactees. I go to a lot of experiencers group, and apparently now it's shifting to more and more positive contact. Has something changed with the extraterrestrials? Well, I think it's pretty subjective. It's like that whole elephant in the room phenomenon, the blind man. pulling different pieces of the elephant. It's based on who you are as a person, as an individual. How do you walk through life? Are you fear-based? Are you accepting? Are you kind and loving? What is your basic reality? And that seems to influence how your contact unfolds with extraterrestrial beings. And that's about all I have to say. Thank you. And the timer's up anyway. Okay, Dan, your turn to answer that question.
I'm sorry. Your audio broke up. Can you say it again?
If you're in contact with aliens, how do you know if that contact is right for you or right for the world?
I have a belief that truth has a way of resonating in everybody, and that, there's so much deception and illusion in the world that, the only thing you can really go by, I believe, is that your own inner intuition. And, looking at the documents, most of the documents I've seen is that the ET races have not shown hostility. Basically, they just shut down our nuclear weapons. So there may be those that are not benevolent, but I believe the vast majority of the extraterrestrial species, like Clifford Stone was talking about the 57 different species since 1989 that have been cataloged, are positive, and I believe a lot of the alien abduction things have to do with paramilitary MILAB situations from people I've talked to who have experienced that. So there's a kind of an evil alien agenda consensus that they've been trying to push for some time because of their future plans. So anyway, that's my take on it, is that you have to feel it resonate within you. Even things can be deceived in that way, but you have to really.
What happened?
I think he got dropped, but I hope he calls into your show, so look for him in the back end of your show. Let's go to Thomas Becker. Take a turn answering the question.
Well, I've never had a contact with aliens, so I'm not sure how I should answer that question.
Just say what you want to say about the subject. It's your turn for 3 minutes to talk.
Well, shoot, I don't talk usually that long. As far as communication with aliens, is it possible? Yes, I believe it's possible. Do they communicate with us? I'm sure they do on a certain level, and to certain people more so than others. Are they telling the truth? God only knows, and maybe the future will hold truth for us, and we'll find out. But until then, it's all speculation. I do believe there's aliens out there. I've never experienced meeting one. I wouldn't mind it. Now, once I have met one, I'm not sure how I'd respond. Of course, how we think we'd respond a lot of times is nowhere near what we actually do. So I might go screaming off like a little girl.
I guess I got disconnected again.
I'm glad you're back.
No, I guess I finished saying what I said. This is like, on to the next.
Okay. So
I agree with that. On with the next.
On with the next. Okay. And the next is Tommy, who asked the question. So let me reset the clock. Go ahead, Tommy. Answer your own question.
All right. Real fast. First of all, no race, whether they're alien or human, whatever we want to call them, wants planet Earth to be blown up. So, yes, they would shut down all nuclear reactors if they could and can. But as far as helping the world, helping save people, wars, battles, there was aliens around every battle that was fought on this planet. And I know that from people that were there directly, from things that I have experienced myself. So are they here to purify and save the human race? I doubt it. Now, when you talk about the 100th monkey idea, what about the millionth monkey, the million people that want to see something happen versus the 100 people that don't want to see it happen? They multiply it by 1 trillion. So the 100 monkey works if you only had 100 monkeys. But if you got 10 billion, the 10 billion are already focusing on a greater number. But let's get back to race. What is the race? How do they live? Do they eat the same way we do? Do they love the same way we do? Do they have sex the same way we do? And I'll answer, most of them do not. So, yes, they are different. TJ, I know you're talking about the soul of a being, which is the same. But when you take a form, it could be different. And they travel in different kind of ships. Each race has their own kind of ships they travel in. I'm not talking about interdimensional beings because they don't need a ship. I'm talking about beings that travel in a ship that come here for food. And every race that's in a physical body needs food. Whether it's humans, animals, water, and air, they all need it. And that's why different races are coming here. So when we say, what are they here for? We have to determine, no matter what they give us, if you watch the movie V, they can come down and say, we're healing the people, we're going to help save you. And that, like in the movie, they injected everybody with a chemical, which the government's doing. So it's very similar to the movie V because they made everybody food for their race. That's what they were creating. So when the idea of a gift, when they come with a gift, what is the gift? Save children from being abused. Purify the ocean. They're the gifts we need. Not saying, well, we're going to help you, and then say, what are we doing really? What are they really doing? I know multiple stories, but like I said, I work with abductees. And once I break down the programming, I get to what happened on their ship. And it's never a good thing. You don't get abducted to have a good experience. You get invited for a good experience. So the idea that aliens are good, all aliens are good, well, you can believe that if you want. And the last thing I'll say on that, when we say aliens come from a good place, well, they're all the same. A race is a race. A race from another planet coming to planet Earth, they're given a ship to travel on. Do they give the ship to all the bad people on the planet? Do they give the ship to all the good people? No, they take programmed people that they're going to put on a ship to send to planet Earth. So it's direct relationships to the race that's coming here, why they're here. It's like if we send a ship up into space, they're not sending you and me. They're sending people that they have programmed to do and react the way they want them to.
Okay. Next question is TJ asking the panel a question. TJ, what is your question for the panel?
The worldview shapes the frame of existence. People argue based on worldview. People are trying to control the worldview. We at Alien Contact Organization understand that. Universally, we're speaking above human declaration to those that work with a logical system. Inside your mind, the axiom of the worldview, we think we have to use logical theory. What is your sense of your reality?
Okay, so you're asking, based on, what is my sense of my reality based on the worldview? Okay, go ahead. Formulate that into a question so I can write that down for everybody. What is my sense of my reality?
The worldview is controlled. What is your sense of reality?
What is my sense of reality based on the controlled?
You could say logical if you want to, because you're going to use your brain and mind to answer the question. The worldview is controlled. What is your view with your logical sense? Can you answer the worldview? You tell me what worldview reality is through your mind, through your filter, your perception. What's your worldview on reality? There's a question.
Okay.
What's your worldview of reality?
Okay, here we go. What's my worldview of reality? And I said it earlier, I think reality is an elephant and or all the blind man holding the different pieces of the elephant. So I've always had to look at reality because my reality was different than the perceived reality of everybody around me. I was able to see extraterrestrials, interdimensionals, and ghosts from a very young age. I came in remembering my past lives, not all of them, but many of them, and I continued to have experiences with extraterrestrials and out-of-body experiences, and so I had to act normal, quote-unquote normal, and go to school and be a good girl and not make waves, but I was always questioning my reality because I was able to see beyond a level that other people could see and hear beyond a level other people could hear. And sometimes I would invite my friends to participate. We'd sleep out. I'd say, you want to see UFOs? And we would see UFOs. I'd say, you want to sleep over? Do you want to see a ghost? And we would see ghosts. So I would invite people into my reality. And, realistically, I have to look at it all. What is happening there? Do we create what we think? Our thoughts, deeds. Are some of us more powerful in our influence level over reality? Is that what's going on with the powers that be, the power elite, that they struggle so hard to keep and maintain a reality view, a perspective that, from my research, goes back to the Anunnaki and to other species that have been visiting this planet for millions, if not billions of years? And so they continually put their propaganda into our reality to control it by controlling the media. And their major control mechanism has been the religions of the planet, and they created the religions, and then they pitted us against each other. It's Orwell's 1984, and instead of being countries, we do have the political aspect and patriotism, which is another divide and conquer and separate us. So that all these things are out there to make us feel separate, and then I'm looking at it. I don't like it. I turn off the television. I don't want to listen to that reality. Does it really exist? Can I prove that I exist? Can I prove anything beyond my nose? I can't prove anything. What one man's proof is another man's science fiction. All I can do is cope with what I can perceive as reality and get through the day. And I go on the radio show and I talk about it with other people, and we can come to a consensus reality, and we can agree, that the sky is above us and the ground is below us, but for all I know, that could be a hologram. And I'm in the Matrix just like the movie, and nothing's real except for the energy that I give to it and my perceptions. Okay, that's done for me. Dan, do you understand the
my
question?
Favorite topic. Yes.
Okay, go for it.
That's what I write about. In the webmatrix.net is the article I wrote about who controls this agreed-upon reality. And, when you become aware, it can make you sad and it can make you mad. The reality is such that it's different, obviously, for every person. But when you understand that, we've all been born into this deceptive reality, and the reasons why, it just seems sad to me because this planet is such a beautiful planet, and there's technologies that can come out, and there's plenty for everybody. You look at the trillions that are spent on war, on the huge amounts of effort they do with Travis Stock tied into the CIA to manipulate the whole perception on the mainstream media, and manipulation in Hollywood with entertainment. You look at all the killing humans and hurting human programming you see on the television brought by a huge array of crime dramas and everything, all putting this into, they know very well what it does to the subconscious mind of the people who suck into that. So, I look at it very objectively. I watch the CBS Evening News, but I look at it to understand how they're going with it. So, I'm not sure if I'm answering the question exactly, but I think it's all about the reality perception. That's what they're completely about, is controlling that perception, as the Nazis called Weltanschauungskrieg, worldview warfare. they planned to infiltrate, and they did. And that's what we have today. I'm done.
Okay. You're complete? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You're complete. Okay, thank you, Tommy Hawksblood. Take it away.
Did we miss the painter? Oh, sorry. Okay. All right.
Okay. Wait. You're next. I'll go to Thomas Becker. Sorry.
Me?
Whoever wants to go next. I forgot which. It's Tommy.
Which reality are we playing in?
I told you, call me.
There's a timer on this thing. Huh? You have to go till the timer goes, and you time everybody. Oh, I see. I'm messing it up. I apologize. I gave too short an answer.
You did, but that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to say what you want to say. You're allowed to eat up your 3 minutes. You're allowed to do 1 minute and say I passed the rest. So, okay. So you're right. It is Thomas
What is your reality,
Becker.
world reality?
Ed, Thomas Becker, take it away.
All right. Reality is, I believe, a tool by the divine source. I believe it's when you consider our reality, you have to think of time, and time is a tool, I believe, for the universe. The universe is a living entity, in my opinion, and it experiences everything at one time. So it's created this metrics or reality that flows through time, and each one of us is a little piece of that creator, and we're put here in order to experience everything there is to experience in a singular manner, and we're an evolution process of the divine source in order to experience these things on a singular level, and instead of all at once. So reality and time is nothing but a tool for the divine source. I think that's about covers it for me.
That's it. Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me just reset the timer now. Tommy Hawksblood, your turn.
Okay, the worldview, meaning humans' view of the reality of the world we live in. For man, it's very similar that it was 1,000, 100,000 years ago. The things that go on in their consciousness is the same. And I'll break it down to like 3 words: sports, sex, and power. It has never changed, no matter what we say, do, created, the wars. It still revolves around those 3 things for every man. So, including killing, which is still here after 100,000 years. Amazing. Never changed. Angels, deities, and beings of light is what I care about, what I focus on. Then the last, what I call the highest, is God. In reality, when you deal with the inner worlds and you leave your body, you're dealing with those things. Those beings don't work with every person on this planet. Angels do. Deities don't, and the higher beings of light stay up in the higher realms, and you have to go see them. So there's a lot of things that we try to bring into this physical world when you start realizing planet Earth isn't the most important place. And then when we say races, the human race can't live more than 125 years. Aliens can live anywhere from 500 years or even longer. So they have a different time frame and what they live in and how they function for their reality. So planet Earth, for the humans, is limited. And we all want to try to get to a better place, sure. But what is that better place? When you die, what reality do you want to go through when you're there? And that's the reality that you need to know, because you're going to be there sooner or later. And Buddha even said you have to think about dying every minute, because 1 second from now you could be dead, and you'll be in that reality. The Indian people believe whatever their last thought was what they come back as, whether it was a bug, a fly, a bird. So understanding that, to me, is the ultimate, and that comes out of an individual person from what's inside themselves. Not no alien race, not no other person. So the deception, there's no deception. We can't create a relationship to make it work. What deception's in that? When we fall in love, we fall out of love. What deception's in that? Ego, money, power, sex. It takes us out of the simple things of compassion and love. and we talk about everything is love, it is if we let go of the mind and the emotional feelings that we come into, which pull us deeper into the illusion that we're talking about that we don't want to be in. The matrix, which we all live in, there is a way out of it, and every person has to know and find that way. And it's not going to be given to everybody. We talked about that before. Everybody's not going to leave this physical dimension. They'll go to the astral plane, reincarnate, and be back into this world again. Not that it's going to be any different, because we'll still be eating, we'll still be hunting, we'll still be killing. But if planet Earth was blown up, that reality would change for every soul that's on this planet. And even the aliens don't want that, because they're reincarnating into humans.
Thank you, Tommy. TJ, your turn.
Okay. My explanation is based on how I perceive from experiences inside soul itself, what some call it, and fundamentally how we express our worldview is based on how we experience life, and then how we break it down inside our own world which we live in. So we are our own microcosm inside a macrocosm. Yet society around me on the outside that I view as an observer, I know that it is natural philosophy. It's also everything that's outside of me, and there can be many things. But for the record, I'd like to share what the apostles shared as a philosopher on development, and we writers at the worldviews operate in a community, and many of us in an unconscious way. So we need to look at 6 things: an explanation of the world, a futurology, it's OG, in other words, reading, values, answers to ethical questions about what should we do, a praxeology, our methodology, our theory of action, how should we attain our goals, and epistemology, our theory of knowledge, what is true and false, and an etiology, our construction of worldview that accounts for your own building blocks of your origin and your construction. Now, on the flip side, they term theory and worldview, which is, do you have the right for religious belief more about mortality, symbology? Are you allowed to do your own artwork? Or significantly think your own thoughts, or your own person? And there's people who use the worldview to anger people and attack and choose to control changes. Many of these changes are created in the world as false energy, and people buy it, just like the movie V that Tommy seems to use a lot of, which is fiction. Tommy, it's a movie that is science fiction, and it's like red pill, blue pill. There may be some philosophy that you're trying to express, but that's your view. Each person has their own world view, their own inner view of who they are, and even at soul level. But no other human being should really rely on another medium, although we do that every day. Our organic unity is the impact we all share. It's causality. It's worldview of causality. So just be aware of your framework in your world, and that each person's worldview is not necessarily another's.
Okay, thank you, TJ. The next question I get to ask, and then this is going to have to be the final round for me because I have to go. I have an appointment across the island, and TJ can finish up the show, but I will conduct this final round. So my question is, who or what is God? Is there God? Is God source? And are we truly all one? And the first to answer that question will be Dan. Take it away, Dan.
Other people showed up too on my board. So
okay, we lost Dan again. Hold on 1 second while I call him back.
I think we're going to have to get him to. Is Thomas Becker?
Okay.
Thomas has to bring him in, or either let him call. Yeah.
Yeah, something, because the Skype, your Skype is breaking up. So let me just ask Dan the question. And then I'm going to...
Hold on. Dan, is you for one? Well, he
wait
was
one
here.
Second. Let me
now
have the speaker on. Hi, Dan. Are you on your
Hi.
back?
I missed
this is
all
the
of
final
that.
round.
I got disconnected again for the third time, so I'm not sure what's going on with the connection.
Other show. Pardon? There's something weird
I said
going
I'm not
on
sure
here.
what's going on. It keeps disconnecting.
Yes.
Did you call it Janet's show? He's
I couldn't hear
Skype
anything because I was disconnected. Is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn. The question is, who or what is God? Is there a God? Is God source, and are we truly all one? Take it away, Dan.
Oh, an easy question. Okay. Let's see. Well, we are what we are. The collective consciousness, the intelligence of which we're all a fractal of, it appears that each one of us is made in image and likeness of that which created us. Therefore, each of us is a creative being. And I think that's the answer to the question from my end.
Okay. Next person, Thomas Becker. Who or what is God? Is there God? Is God source? And are we one?
Like I said pretty much in the previous answer, yes, we are all one with Source, and its source. We give it the name God for reference reasons, direction to point at. We all are part of the same source, though. It's really fundamental for me. I got no problem with it. I think it's where nature's interconnected everywhere. I don't see why it wouldn't be that way for the rest of the universe. So I think that we're, to think we're the only ones here is pretty egotistic. I don't know. There's got to be some answer to it, but I don't have it other than the fact that I feel that we are all source. That's about it.
Okay, thank you. Short and sweet. Let's see, we have Tommy Hochblood. Same question. Take it away, Tommy.
Okay, to make this short is going to be hard because I just did 6 weeks on God and Gods. But simply for me, I'm serious, I did a workshop, 2 hours every week for 6 weeks. The ego and mind like to believe they're everything and anything, more powerful, more this, more that. It's what creates the reality that we accept, the thoughts, the words we use. I go by experience. If you went back to Atlantis and realized what they were, how they lived, and what they were capable of doing, we are not the same as them. We look the same as them, but we are not spiritually the same. A lot of those beings left the physical world. Then when you talk about the astral world, which means you're using your astral body, until you experience that, you can't understand it. So to say we're equal to our astral body, no, we're not. Then when you go into the spiritual worlds, which are the worlds beyond the astral plane, then you're dealing with pure light beings, and they're different. So when people say we're all one with what? With ego? With what we think we are. When most people have no clue, and that's why they use the word source for God, because it's just a source of power or energy. If you look at every definition, it's power and energy. But it has nothing to do with a thinking form that has a power to create, which God is. Until you get to the higher realms and you can experience that, there's no way you can understand it. It's like telling a baby about how a nuclear reactor works. They have no clue. Schooling helps you grow in the knowledge of the physical world. Soul travel, astral projection, teaches you about traveling in an astral body, which is the next step in spiritual growth. Then when you let go of your astral body, you're growing into a spiritual world, and you're learning how to use your light body. So it's all a matter of growth. But most people aren't ready. They can't create a physical world to run right. We can't create relationships and children to be born in a good condition and we're going to understand something higher and greater than their ego, like God. Well, people are dealing with gods, little gods, I call, like the beings and aliens that people met. If you go back to the beginning of the world, when the Hindu and Indian people were dealing with different deities that they called gods, they were deities. If you travel past the astral plane, you'll see many deities, and you can learn to work with them. I worked with them when I was 6 years old till I was 11. Then I worked with 2 more when I was 25. They're real, and because you can meet other people around the planet that couldn't say what they look like and what they are. So it makes it a little more real to you because now it's just not your dream, your imagination. If we're all connected to Source, we would be running a little more better, a little more organized. It's like saying my mind wants to kill people, my other mind wants to make love to people. No, you take the part that's the compassion part of truly what soul is, which doesn't think of either, and you can live an incredible reality in that realm. So for me, and this is my story, my experience, my truth. God is real, but nobody, very few souls, maybe 9 beings at any given time ever experienced the true God. The deities that work, like even Jesus, Moses, Buddha, the gods that they work with were all off the third world. I met...
You're out. I'm sorry, Tommy, you're out of time. Thank you so much for your answer. Okay. TJ, your turn to answer the question.
Okay. God is a word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was not form. So God's love. The heart has reasons which reason knows not of. God is a metaphor. Angels, the powerful, spiritual beings, saints, jinns, divas, everything is God is the thought. There are many theologians and philosophers that attribute God to everything, all. Omniscience, omnipotence, omnipresence, everything that's good, everything is bad, everything that is eternal, everything that is necessary. We have our own understanding of what God is. It's a human thought. It's a human everything. It's mankind. It's everything we have the perception to believe that is. And so you ask a kid, what is God? And we were taught God is everything. God is love. It's very hard to get past that. However, we don't live in a genderless society, but I believe God is a gender, that God can create both male and female. I've been able to create little girls. I had 4 little girls. Does that make me a God? I don't think so. God is much more than anything we can possibly perceive or believe or can achieve. Therefore, God is a concept. It's more than a concept. God is everything, all knowing, all seeing, all having, all believing, all doing, all supreme, all truth. Universally speaking, it's more than essence. It's more than existence. If you can perceive yourself outside of existence, you still be what in this world, in the worldview that we accept as God, supreme, almighty creator of the universe and all things, all knowing. And I have some people come to this contact org and spewing things about God and Jesus and worshipers or we're going to the devil or things like that. And if you don't believe me, I have somebody in the chat room. People don't understand. Jesus will set you free. Aliens and fallen ones. They're lecturing to me right now. Brightening star. And nature believe Jesus will set you free. Aliens, demons, fallen ones. They're spewing their words. Now, if God is love and God is everything, and God is the universe and God is knowing, then that's God saying that in my chat room. So if we are all God, we are also all alien. And how does he, being one of God, if God is everything, the aliens are demons and fallen ones? If everything is God, yield.
Okay, we're done. That was good. You had 9 seconds left. I will answer my own question, and then that'll be the last thing I can do. Then I have to head across the island. So 3 minutes for Janet. Who or what is God? I have had experiences where I've had near-death experiences, and I went all the way to Source in one of these episodes. And I think it was beyond the guides or your guide or your counsel that you encounter based on the Michael Newton Institute research. It felt like I was reconnected to Source through oneness, and I also achieved that oneness experience on other times. I think Source is different than God, than the God that they write about in the Bible. I think the Bible is talking about the story of the Anunnaki and the little gods, and like Tommy says, the deities. They could be interdimensionals, but the beings that have been that are being talked about in the Bible and other ancient religious texts that they seem to be rather unconscious. They don't seem to be omnipotent and omniscient. They do crazy things like destroy people and order them dead. I don't think a real true God, I don't think the source at oneness is going to do such hideous actions like you see throughout the Bible. I was raised in the Bible. One of the main reasons I rejected it is because there seemed to be a lot of contradictions and hypocrisy, and I just said, this isn't God. I was 10 years old, and I said, this ain't God. God loves people, and that's what you say in Bible school, but that's not a loving being. And so if a child can see it, it confuses me why people can't see that there's something amiss here. And for me, God is loving oneness, is source, is within each and every one of us. We can access God immediately. We don't need an intermediary. We have total access to God, and it is instantaneous. I know God's not going to come down and do your homework for you or whatever you want, but there is a force, a source that is powerful and connected to all of creation. And we are co-creators with God, and that's why we've got to be careful with thoughts or deeds. If we don't like this program that we're in, change the station, replace your negative thoughts with positive ones, and keep moving and up-leveling your existence until you create a better world for yourself and everybody around you. And that's about all I want to say today. I'm going to do a little bit of logistics here. Before I leave, let me put this off. TJ, you can take over as the hostess with the mostess for the rest of the show. I'm going to leave my board running, but if those who are on my board for some reason get disconnected, you can call into 347-945-7207. I'll repeat that. 347-945-7207. And TJ, you will take over the board. And I want to thank you all for having me on today as co-host.
Yeah, Janet, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to thank everybody. Enjoyed talking to everybody and sharing thoughts. I got a jam too. So, hey, everybody have a good evening. Hope we do it again. Keep the faith.
Okay, thank you so much, Dan, for joining us. We shall keep the faith.
Bye-bye.
All right, and someone will, Bright and Morning Star just logged in to my chat. Please go over to 347-945-7207. The conversation will continue there. And I am going to leave now.
That's the one getting all these words.
Huh?
The Bright Morning Star is the one saying...
Huh?
All right, I guess she... Okay. The Bright Morning Star is the one putting all these purple words called Satan worship is the matrix, loop, the cube.
God bless
Jesus
you,
set you
Bright
free. Aliens, demons, fallen ones. Just so you know.
TJ, your Skype is horrible. I would recommend you call into your phone. No, it's Skype. It's horrible. It really is horrible. It does it all the time on Blog Talk. It's fine on Revolution, but on Blog Talk, you sound fine, but it's coming over here. I don't know. Can you, Thomas Becker? Can you hear TJ? She keeps warbling on me. How's it sound to you?
Yeah, she's popping out a little bit. You were too earlier.
Yeah.
Well, TJ's breaking up for me. Really bad.
Anyway,
she's breaking up a lot.
Yes, you're breaking up
All
a
right.
lot, so I recommend you call in. You put your original thing on mute, and it's calling on your home phone into your show, and then you can continue to contact. Because it's really warbling it's getting worse. All right, Tommy and Thomas, thank you, and TJ, thank you. I'm going to go. So thank you, everybody. Much love and bless. Aloha.
Aloha.